Hello and welcome. Thanks so much for clicking on this video. If this is your first video of mine that you are watching, just know that this is normally not the content that I post. I am in no way any kind of tech wizard or like super good with technology, but I did post on my Instagram story the other day this story. I got so many responses on that story, just so many questions and people asking how I was doing it and then if I would film a tutorial on how to do it. So that's what this video is. Also, just know that this video is in no way sponsored. None of the products or anything I'm talking about I'm being paid to talk about. This was simply just something I really wanted to do. My parents' house was just full of old VHS tapes and I really wanted to figure out how to do it without sending the tapes away and having to spend like the higher end of a couple $100s, if not a couple $1,000s, to get them converted into digital files. So I just did some extensive research, figured it out, bought the equipment, and now I'm sharing it with you. I'm gonna go ahead and jump into the tutorial and show you guys how you can convert old VHS tapes into digital files. In order to start converting your old VHS tapes into digital files, I'm gonna tell you everything that you need. Again, as I mentioned earlier, I'm not a tech wizard or anything like that, so if I mispronounce anything or it sounds a little bit off, I'm sorry, but this is everything that I have that I've been using and it's been working incredibly well, and I've been able to digitize all my old memories. First and foremost, you're gonna need a computer. I'm using my MacBook Pro. It's been working fine. You can honestly use any computer that exists, I'm almost positive, as long as it has a USB port on the side. Next, you're gonna need a set of double-ended RCA connector cables. Next, you're gonna need some sort of video capturing cable and software. This is the Elgato one that I got from Amazon. It was $95. You can get different video capturing cables and software from like Best Buy. You can check online. The price range is kind of all across the board. I did opt for this one just because it has really good reviews on Amazon and other places on the internet. I don't know how the $20 and $40 ones compare to this $95 one. You'll also need either a VCR player or a camcorder or anything that can hold the original tapes that have all your memories on them. If you opt for the VCR player route of converting your files, you are going to need a cassette converter. So a lot of people that have their old tapes most likely have the cassette converter. However, I did not have one, so I was able to snag this one off Amazon for $40. Then you're gonna need to download online any software that comes with your converting cables. So I will show you how to do that. And then optional, you're going to need a DVD or a jump drive to save all your files to, or if you have plenty of space on your computer, then you won't need that. Like I said, this was the specific video capture software that I went for. This is the Elgato brand. They have a website, and this is where you're gonna go to download the software onto your computer. So that's what you're gonna do first. After you follow all the necessary steps to download the software, it's time to start converting. I'm gonna show you the way that I've been doing it, which is using the old VCR, but I will briefly explain how you can use your old camcorder if you still have it, or if you're able to have one that is going to be able to convert these old tapes. I was able to buy a perfectly good condition working VCR from eBay for about $45, including shipping. Super cheap. It's unfortunate that I'll probably really never use it again after all this, but again, relatively inexpensive to transmit all your old memories and have them in a digital copy. What you're gonna do next is plug your VCR into just a regular wall outlet, and then you're gonna take your double-ended RCA cables and plug one into the back of your VCR or your camcorder, and then the other end into the Elgato. So my VCR, I believe, has a yellow and the white on the back, so then I'm just gonna plug in yellow and white with the video capture. After that, you're gonna take the USB port from the video capture cable and plug it into the side of your computer. Once you have that plugged in, you're going to open up the software on your computer. Once you have the software up on your computer, grab your cassette converter and go ahead and open it and put in your tape. Ah, the sound of my childhood. Gently insert the tape, close the top, close the top, and then go ahead and stick it into the VCR. The last few days I've been doing this, it really just takes me back, you know, you'd put that old Disney VHS into your VCR and you just sit down and eat a pack of fruit gummies and have no worries and no responsibility. What I recommend doing as soon as you put the VHS into the VCR is go ahead and just rewind it. You have no idea when the last time you watched those tapes or anything like that, so it could pick up right in the middle or at the very end. So go ahead and just rewind that tape before you get started. When you have the Elgato video capture software up, it's gonna ask you to name this movie. I have done 15 tapes so far, so I'm just labeling this one VHS 16, and it asks you how long the movie is. You may have no idea. I just keep it set at 60 minutes because I think a lot of these tapes you can't even record over 60 minutes of footage, so I've kept it at 60, and so far a lot of the tapes that I've recorded personally, they've only been about 30 minutes or so. Also note, as you are doing this conversion, it does it in real time, so if your tape is 60 minutes long, you're going to have to sit in front of your computer for 60 minutes and have it download, so make sure you just plan enough time for that. So here's what my screen looks like. It's just waiting for me to do the next step, so I'm going to come down here to the VCR and press play. Don't worry if you see the static fuzz in the beginning, that does not mean your tape is ruined. So once your video pops up, you're gonna click this continue button. So I'm gonna hit continue, and then once you hear sound, you hit continue, and then you're gonna hit start recording. And here's me as a baby. And you can sit here and watch the tapes, or you can mute it and then walk away from your computer, whatever you want to do. But then when you are all finished, let's say, you know, you've played the entire tape all the way through, and to ensure that your tape is actually all the way through, I would mess with the VCR a couple of times, you know, rewind, fast forward, things like that. Make sure you're all the way at the end of your tape so you can finish recording. You'll come down here and hit stop recording. And then you can always crop it. So like if there was a lot of static in the beginning, you can crop it. If there's not, then you're good. And then you hit continue, and then it's going to download into your files. So I already have mine saved in a very specific place. And then you can click again down here and then do your next tape. I really don't know much more than that, like how to troubleshoot or if things aren't showing up or going right. I know that obviously VCRs are kind of like old and outdated, so if they're not working, I've noticed a couple of tapes that I've recorded so far, like when it's really staticky and really fuzzy, I think it's just because my VCR is placed on my carpet right now, but sometimes I have to slowly kind of move the VCR player a couple times to get that static to go away. That will help. Otherwise, I don't know how else to troubleshoot, so if something's not working, I'm sorry, I don't think I can help you. I did briefly want to talk about the other method if you don't have a VCR player or you're not really interested in buying one, but maybe just ironically at your parents' old house or in your attic or in your basement, you happen to have the original camcorder that all your old tapes were filmed on. If that's the case, then you can do it this way as well without the VCR. This is the Panasonic Camcorder. This is what my parents filmed all of our old VHS tapes on. The reason though that I decided to just go ahead and buy a VCR player from eBay was because the battery life on this thing is pretty much non-existent. The battery still is in the carrier that it came in and it fits right here. We also still have the charging block for it, but it just does not stay charged for like any length of time over about 10 minutes. So obviously if a lot of the tapes are 30 minutes plus, it's very challenging to keep this thing charged while trying to record and download them at the same time. But if you're using your old recording device instead of the VCR, it's pretty much the same thing. So when you're taking the RCA cables, and instead of down here the black wire is attached to the VCR, you're just going to attach them into this part of the camcorder or your recorder or anything like that here, and then plug the other end into the video capturing cable. Make sure your battery is put in place, and then this isn't gonna work right now because my battery is not plugged in, but right here is where you're gonna open it and then put your old tape in here. Obviously, if you are of age and you've used this thing before, you should know how it works, unless you're like a newer generation and you don't understand how this old piece of dinosaur equipment works. But you'll just push to eject right here, you put the tape in, you close it. Same thing, you can use the rewind features on it if your camera offers that, and then you'll just press play and it's gonna show up just like it would with the VCR player. If you press play and it's gonna come up on the screen, and you can just record that way as well. Like I mentioned earlier, I am not super tech savvy. I can usually troubleshoot very basic problems on computers and iPhones, but other than that, I really don't know what I'm doing because technology is vastly changing and there's so much going on. So the fact that I can do this means that you can too. It's pretty foolproof. It's very basic to follow along. There's not a lot of complex steps and lots of complex equipment that you need. You just need a couple of things and you can put it all together and then transmit your old memories into digital files. A couple of the things I use in this video are a little bit pricey, but like I said, when you add everything together, it's gonna save you a couple $100 versus when you send all your tapes to a third-party company that are going to digitize them for you and send it back, and you have to pay a pretty hefty price for that. Not that I don't recommend supporting businesses and companies that do those things, but if you're balling on a budget like me, I recommend trying it yourself. I will link all the different equipment and things that you can buy online in the description of the video. Again, none of this is sponsored, but you should definitely check out this equipment. It's gonna be really helpful in your journey of finding your old memories and making them digital. Thanks so much for watching. I hope this tutorial was very helpful. Hopefully you can use it in the future if you decide to take your old VHS tapes and make them digital.